What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Fusion Power Podcast, where we talk all things solar. I'm your host, Jared Gillespie. I'm the CSO and one of the owners here at Fusion Power. With me today are one of our top reps, Ryan Witt.
Hello.
And our COO, Jason Gallagher. What's up, you guys?
Hey now.
How's it going?
How's everybody doing?
Good.
Good. Let's do quick intros. Ryan, can you tell us about yourself?
Yeah, my name is Ryan. I've been with Fusion for about 4 years from now. I got recruited here from Fusion right into solar. So have a really, really long history here at Fusion. Got 2 kids. That's pretty much it. I'm just here for the ride.
Ryan, you just passed the 2 megawatt mark here
Whoa.
at Fusion,
That's right.
which is big.
That's right. Yeah.
Not a lot of guys in the industry
Yeah.
have sold that much solar.
Yeah.
It's a lot of solar.
Got a good company behind me installing those megawatts for me. So super blessed.
That's awesome. We're glad to have you. Jason, can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Jason Gallagher. I'm the COO here at Fusion Power. Been in solar for 9 years now, and been at Fusion for just over 3 years. I've got 3 kids, 3 boys. One of them's only 6 months old. Yeah, just got a baby at home. Just had a baby this year.
The little cute Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Just a fat little baby.
That's right.
He's awesome.
They're the best. They don't talk back at that age.
No,
No.
they barely move
Yeah.
until they do.
They
You
just
know
sit,
what's wrong if they are talking back. Speed them.
they just sit there and look cute.
That's
Yeah.
right.
My name is Jared Gillespie. I've been in the door-to-door industry now, going into my 20th year
Oof.
this year.
Wow.
So did alarms for a long time, and I've been doing solar since 2013, and we started Fusion in 2017.
Yeah.
So it's been an awesome ride here. Pretty cool to see what we've grown over the last few years.
Amazing.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, today we're going to be talking about Door-to-Door Con number 6, which just got held this last weekend up in Salt Lake City, Utah. You guys were there with me.
Yeah.
Initial impressions. What did you guys take away from the event when you look at door-to-door as an industry? All the door-to-door knockers out there with pest and roofing and alarms, solar, obviously. What's your takeaway of the industry in general?
Well, I mean, for me, this is my first D2D con, and I remember thinking, on my way up there, I'm like, man, I'm in ops, and what's this all about? But it was important to me to support our guys getting awards up there and going. And I was really blown away just to see the scale of the D2D industry. Pest, alarm, solar. There was even meat guys there. I was like, wow, I never even thought about that. I mean, so to see the scale, and then when I associate that scale with the amount of opportunities and jobs that creates, not just on the sales side, but the operation side, it was great to be a part of. I definitely look forward to regularly attending that in the future.
Well, I think it's important, like you said, for you being an ops, one of we consider our first customer here at Fusion is our sales rep.
Yeah.
So all of our systems, everything that we try to develop is always, how is this going to help the rep to bring in more deals?
Yeah, that's a great point. There were some really good breakouts, at this D2D Con. I think one of the best parts about D2D Con is the fact that they have these breakouts where they have these high performers actually talking to people how it's done. And for me to be able to sit in those rooms and hear what helped those guys, the type of support they had behind them, it just got me immediately thinking, wanting to get home and just kind of scale it up ourselves as far as the support goes.
It's amazing too. They do these big awards, and you've got 50 guys on these stages that are accomplishing incredible feats. Like, they're selling so much of whatever product they're selling that 5 years ago was almost impossible, right?
Yeah.
It's like the guy that originally broke that 4-minute mile. Nobody thought it was possible, and now you got
1,800.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so we're seeing people continue to stretch the boundary of what they're able to accomplish in this industry, and people making millions of dollars a year doing it. It's pretty impressive. Ryan, door-to-door can have a stigma, right? You're a door-to-door salesman, get a real job, all that kind of stuff. When you go to an event like this, or when you look at your paycheck at the end of the year, how do you feel about being part of that door-to-door tribe that Taggart talks about?
Man, I don't think there's a better industry to be in. When people ask, what do I do? What do I do for a living? I tell them I knock on doors. Pretty blessed to get a lot of leads set for me by a lot of lead setters and stuff. But it's a different grind. It's a different work. It's a different self satisfaction when you're out there. You're helping people. Nobody's doing it for you. You got to go find it. You're a hunter. You're a hunter. You're a hunter. You're a hunter. You're always hunting. You're always looking for that sale. So being amongst those peers that are same like-minded as I am, it's fuel for the fire. It's adds so much fuel. Like, I come home yearning for just wanting to work and wanting to hit goals and hit goals and hit goals. So super nice that door-to-doors in the beginning of the year can really forecast your year. I had a really, really good year last year. So my year this year is unbelievable goals in my eyes. But I have the company, I have the knowledge, and I have the support that can get me exactly where I need to go and where I want to go. So
Nice.
yeah, it's awesome.
Jason, what are you going to remember most about this specific event?
You know, I had a lot of takeaways from the event. One, I think one of the major ones was that guy Tom Bayou. I don't even know. Does anybody know how to
I think
say
it's
his
Bill
name?
you, like I'm
Tom
going to bill
B.
you.
Yeah,
B.
Tom B.
Yes.
Right. So to hear somebody up on the stage talking about creation of something big, right? So you got this guy. He started this concept of wanting to make a certain type of protein bar, right? And to hear his story and how he navigated through that, and how he ended up selling for $1 billion, right? And that in itself could probably motivate me enough because, I'm big about wanting to be part of something that's building something for more than just me, a legacy and a legacy for the people around me, right? But probably my biggest takeaway is when he was talking about when he sold his company for $1 billion and how he talked about that morning, being on his computer and he said, I hit refresh and then I hit refresh, 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 refresh. And then boom, the money hit. And that visualization for me was like, wow, like that's a big achievement. But the greatest impact was his comment about what followed up that thought. And he said that his wife says, what are we going to do now? And his response was, we're going to get back to work, And and how he correlated that to, it's not just about the achievement, it's about the journey, right? And that's a big deal, especially in our industry. So many guys, whether it's in sales or operations, it's like, oh, wow, we hit 10 megs. Well, okay, great, let's celebrate that achievement, but we're trying to hit 30, And so let's get back to work and do it. It was, for me, that was probably my biggest takeaway.
I agree with you. That was one of the most impactful things. And I wrote down a note. I don't know if it's exactly how he said it, but it was basically something to the effect of attaining the goal doesn't really mean anything.
Yeah.
It's what you've become in that process. And he kind of had that image of this blood-soaked warrior that had been out on the battlefield fighting and learning and trying, failing over and over and over until he was able to accomplish that. And it's like, sweet. The attaining of the goal was like this manifestation that actually happened. Awesome, good job. But my self-esteem and my self-worth comes from the effort that I put into that.
Yeah.
That was pretty sweet. Ryan, from the breakout sessions, was there any of those breakout sessions that stood out particularly to you?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's cliche to say. I mean, I went out to Utah to watch Luke speak, and Luke is one of the top guys. So Luke is just captivating. It's amazing how I'm doing the same things he's doing it. He's just doing it on a way higher level than me. And honestly, to me, I feel like he's doing it better. So he's very, very good at analyzing, what you can do better and how you can apply yourself to get that extra sale, to get that person to say yes. So a lot Luke touched on. And also I thought I was an expert. Sam touches on this. Are you an expert? I think it's 10,000 hours worth of experience doing what you do. And I feel like I'm probably there on time frame, but I don't think I'm there yet. And this year I'm really wanting to take myself to that next level and be an expert. So, Meltzer, all these guys had a similar key takeaway that they were telling everybody at Door to Door Con. And you surround yourself with people that are going to impact you. I think one of the guys lost a bunch of his money. I think all of it, like hundreds of millions of dollars. And he had himself surrounded around people to where he could bounce back. And it was kind of like not a safety net, but other people around you want you to be successful. They see value in you. They see that you can contribute to. So, I think it's amazing that Sam put this whole industry together and put all the competitors together. And we're a pretty competitive recruiting industry too. So to be able to be comfortable to take your top guys there just to learn from other top guys that want you to be successful too. I don't think there's another industry. I don't think there's another convention that's doing something like this. So it's amazing to be part of something like that. Super excited for next year. So it's just, I took so much away from it. It's just amazing. I'm super grateful that Fusion took me that first year. I probably wouldn't have going to Salt Lake City and spending that kind of investment on yourself, not expecting or knowing that you're going to be able to get anything out of it. So it's truly amazing. I recommend it to anybody out there.
For sure. Going back to what you mentioned, Luke. I've known Luke for a few years, and I know how he is. I mean, he's the most passionate guy that you'll ever meet, right? He's just 100% all the time. And while he's up there, even though I've seen him present a lot, I was still captivated it was the first time that I ever heard him speak.
He's a phenomenal presenter. And here's the thing about D2D Con, which I think is very impactful, is you've got these pros speaking, like obviously, big time speakers up there. But what Sam does in these breakout sessions where he has the people that are actually producing and hitting these numbers, talking directly to people. And sometimes they're great speakers like Luke. And then other times I went into a breakout and I was like, wow, this guy's not a great speaker, but he's speaking from experience. He's actually talking about being in the trenches.
That's right.
And you're not necessarily getting an awesome speaker like Luke in every breakout session, but you're definitely walking away from a breakout session with a lot of value.
Nuggets.
For sure. One of the things that stood out that the keynote speaker of the whole event was Jordan Peterson.
Oh yeah.
I've been watching him on
Amazing.
Instagram all the time, and it's always fun to watch these debates that he has and stuff like that. But it was really cool to have him just get up there for 45 minutes straight, talking about about setting up a vision for your life. Yeah. And he talked about, it's one thing to set a goal, but turn that goal into an actual vision. And he talked about this exercise that he had his students do. I don't know if he was teaching at Yale at the time, I can't remember. But basically he had them go and he had them sit down and write for 90 minutes. And I'm like, okay, when was the last time I sat down and did anything for 90 minutes straight, But he says, write for 90 minutes about your life, what you want it to look like over the next 5 years. And then he said, there's 5 or 6 different areas that I want you to write about. What does your relationship look like with your spouse? What does your relationship look like with your kids, with your friends? What are your hobbies? And then what are you doing professionally during that time? He said that the people who did that were 50% more likely to achieve those goals. I don't know exactly how that was measured, but it makes so much sense that when you actually put that out there, now you have this direction. Tom talked about that. He's like, if you don't have clarity in your goals, you're never going to accomplish what you want to accomplish. And one of the things I take away from this event, because it's a rah-rah event, right? There's a lot of stuff there that I don't necessarily buy into. When you just talk at 10 decibels the whole time,
screaming at me,
or 100 decibels, and you're just screaming at me, I'm like, all right, enough, right?
Yeah.
But there's and a lot of people buy into that, and it gets them fired up or whatever, but that will usually die out. And so what I like that Tom talked about is like, you've got to have principles that you're going to apply after this thing, because the feeling's going to be gone.
That's right.
And you need to have a list of rules that are going to dictate your life. You need to have a list of things that you are committed to doing, and that's where you're going to actually make the progress that you feel excited about right now. But if you're actually going to accomplish those things, you've got to be able to have that vision, the clarity of that vision, what it is exactly that you want to do, and then go out there and work to make it happen.
Amen. Have a map. That's what you need. It's hard to get where you're going if you don't have a map.
After going through that the conference last weekend, what are some of the to-dos that you guys gave yourselves? What are some of the things that you want to
Well, just kind of along the lines that you were talking about with what Jordan was saying, that exercise of writing out a vision, I've always been a big planner. We're big planners here at Fusion. Like, we have on paper exactly what we plan on accomplishing this year, what we plan on accomplishing in the next 3 years, 5 years, and 10 years. And so I know there's value in that planning, but that concept that Jordan was talking about, where you sit down and you write down, what is it you're going to look like in 5 years professionally? What kind of husband am I going to be in 5 years? What kind of father am I going to be in 5 years? What kind of, and so for me, I've already committed to making sure that happens. I've already committed to making sure that people on my leadership team, we start having that conversations where instead of me just asking them, hey, what's your plan this year for your department? I'm starting to have conversations with those people like, hey, not just your department, like what do you want to do in your career? How's it going at home? What's that look like? Because Jordan had a great point. It's like, and he was talking about that exercise he did with the students. Don't forget, he had another group of students, the same amount of students, write for 90 minutes on something unrelated. Yeah. And so that percentage of students that succeeded, that was compared to the students that didn't. And so, it's definitely one thing I plan on implementing immediately.
I love that. Ryan?
Oh, man. Probably the biggest thing I took from this whole thing is accountability. I was one of the guys that signed up for the elite, Sam Taggart's elite mastermind or elite group. when you possess the tools, the resources, and the ability to accomplish unbelievable things, you need that accountability. You need that person there pushing you. I'm a big firmer. If you're not firmer, I'm a big firm believer that if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
You know, and if I had a great year last year and I have a similar or less year this year, I didn't grow, right? And therefore I'm dying in this industry that other people are growing substantially in. So accountability is really, really big for me. I need accountability. I don't like when people give me accountability. That's probably why not a lot of people do it, right? It's because it turns it away. I want to turn away from it. But after a while, I start to self-reflect and I start to realize that this is what's going to take me to the next step. One person in particular said something there that really struck to me. When are you going to stop settling for your 2.0 and start striving for your 10.0? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think that's true. Like, you think that you're the 2.0, you're the best version of you, and you just got started. Like, I couldn't imagine where I was at 10 years ago versus where I am today. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if I settled for that 2.0 back then, I wouldn't be in the positions now. So accountability is really, really big for me. Obviously, you two are going to hold that perspective to me pretty quickly and firmly. So, and I need that from you guys. But that's what I mainly took away from it, and that's what I went there for. I went there for that goal. I need that. I know what I need to do. I just need the map. I need the idea. I need the will. I need that. So, Door to Door gave that to me. It's really amazing.
Solid. You know, it was kind of validating when they talked about having that plan, both Tom and Jordan, and how easy it is to manifest what you're trying to get done when you have that plan. Back in November of 2021, when we came out with that goal for 2022, at that time, I mean, we were going to be increasing everything by 50%.
Yeah.
We were all stepping into new roles from where we were. You know, we were only going into our second year of doing installs, and that was a pretty daunting goal. But we had that business plan written out week by week.
Yeah.
Everything from where it all starts on the sales side, right? How many gross bookings we need. After cancels, how many net that's going to be, how many installs that's going to be per week, and then how many crews and account managers.
Trucks.
I mean, we went through the entire thing, but it was like this recipe that you could just follow by doing that. Yeah. And it's like, if you don't have that vision, you don't have that all worked out, you're just going to be sitting there, you know, waving, you know, like a boat on the ocean in a storm there. I had a rep come in and talk to me this morning, and he wanted to come in. I thought that was awesome. He took the initiative and said, "Hey, I want to sit down with you, and I want you to hold me accountable for my goals this year. I want to tell you what they are, so you know exactly what I'm trying to go." And so he came in and he said, "Here's my goal." I said, "Okay, cool. But what are you going to do different this year than you did last year? Because you're not happy with your performance last year." Yeah. And he said, "Well, what I've done so far every day this year I've gotten up at 5 a.m. and I've gone out and I've done the cold plunge in the pool. So I start out the day doing the hardest thing I'm going to do all day long. So I'm starting at the top of the ski lift here, and now I'm just cruising down the rest of the day. I'll have, you know, I'll fall down once in a while, but I can keep just going down the mountain because I've done the hardest thing." And he says, you know, and I'm adding in these other things into my routine where I'm having my daily prayer, I'm having good meals, I'm going to the gym, and he's got this routine of discipline that once he gets used to being disciplined, it's very easy to add that one other measure of discipline, which is getting out of the doors and knocking, which nobody wants to do. Yeah. That's where it's so easy to come up with whatever excuse when we know we need to be doing something, but we don't want to do it. We find some busy work that gets in the way. And so the idea of doing really hard things consistently is going to kind of give him that springboard to hit his goals this year. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Makes the other hard things easy to do.
For sure.
I think, you know, rarely do I hear about a company that explodes that didn't plan that success. You know, I'm sure it's out there. And I'm sure that there's some companies that had that success that just say they never really, whatever the case may be. Fact of the matter is, I know personally and closely with guys like Luke, you know, where there's a common theme for people who plan and who create a vision and goals and set out to accomplish that. And that common theme is a regret, which is it's a regret for not wanting more. You know, it's like me and Luke have had this conversation before. He goes, "Man, I look back at the start of the year and I set out to do 300. Man, why didn't I do 450? You know, I probably would have done 450 that was my goal." And now he's in a position where, you know, it's a proven method for him to work. And now he's just striving for that. You know, I mean, sure, it's important to set obtainable goals, but at the same time, it's like, you know, to be really able to stretch yourself is a big deal.
Yeah. And being able to figure out where are you right now, and being honest with yourself. Tom talked about, like, stare at yourself in your nakedness, like be super humble and be like, where am I? Realize what are your faults, right? Where he said, like, I'm dumb, but I know that I can learn.
Yeah.
And as long as I learn and apply and work hard, then physics say I'm going to end up getting a result at it.
There's
That regular accountability is, you had a good point there. That's an absolute necessity. I think, and that's why I got super excited when I saw you jump up and become part of that, coaching group, because that's you, like, that's your money. You're making that happen, and because for me, I think that was a big shift for us too, over a year ago when we restructured the company and we set out to do these goals. We created weekly measurables where we all got together in a room and we reported on, this is what we did this week, and then we had quarterly measurables that we had to every single week acknowledge whether I'm on track or off track. And that was a big difference maker. So when I saw you jump up for something that's accountable, now I know that this year you're going to be on a group that does weekly check-ins, monthly calls. Man, I'm just super excited. I wish more sales reps would do that.
And it's so cool, though, when you're doing those weekly check-ins, you're seeing it, like you said, on track or off track. Now it lets you know what adjustments you need to make.
Yeah.
The hard thing is most people realize when it's too late. And then all of a sudden it's like, shoot, it's 3/4 of the way through the year, but I'm only 30% of the way to my goal. It's too late to make those adjustments. It has to be that consistent check-in every single week.
right.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing going to a meeting or saying I'm going to do this and you don't do it.
Yeah.
It's super embarrassing.
Yeah.
Other guys are doing it.
Mm-hmm.
What's your excuse?
Totally.
And I'm just tired of giving myself the excuses.
Yeah.
I'm probably give a lot of excuses and pretty good ones. My wife almost burned my house down last night. Right. But that's not an excuse not to go to work. So, when we went to bed, we woke up and it was a new day. Yeah. Right. I could have used that as a situation to take Friday off and take it easy, but I have too big of goals. I can't get there if I have days off. I have days off with my family, obviously, but when I'm working, I'm working. So.
And then when you get home, you can just go smell the delicious smell of burnt
plastic. Yeah, spatulas. I'm gonna go all metal now. Right? No, I don't want this to happen again.
I think one of the shortcuts to be able to have success too, and this is what Meltzer talked about, was surrounding yourself with high frequency people. There's all sorts of people in this world, and we live in such a unique culture. The door-to-door tribe, where these are all very, I think, motivated, competitive, high-thinking people for the most part. But particularly here at Fusion, I just feel like we've been so lucky to attract incredible people across the board. Yeah. We've got our clearly outlined company core values. Yeah. Of family first, add value, and tenacious grit. And I feel like the people that we work with really exemplify those values. And for me, I feel uplifted every time I come to work.
Yeah.
I'm able to hang out with guys that I look up to in everything that they do, from their personal lives, their professional. That's the kind of driver that's going to get you to the next level, is being around good, solid people.
That's right. Not
just high performers that go out there and make a bunch of money and flash it, but like really good, solid, moral, hardworking people. I think that's one of the keys to shortcutting this whole thing.
Yeah, it's one of the keys that Fusion, I feel, is one of the Fusion's strongest set points. Like, Fusion wants to do what's best for the customer, wants to do what's best for the rep, right? I've seen several times where Fusion got the raw end of the deal. And from experience I've heard, usually the companies don't get the raw end of the deal, right? That's why reps go from company to company. I find myself wanting to stay here, wanting to be here. It's just Fusion's just done things a lot different. It's not just a paycheck. It's not just a lower cost that you have on your deals, right? It's a family. You come here. We go to other countries together. We built floors. Next year, I built floors with you guys. So it's been a really awesome ride, and Fusion's done a really good job on those core values.
Awesome. Any other takeaways?
Yeah, the booth, right? There was a lot of great exhibitors out there. I think I'm really impressed to see the different types of technologies coming into the industry and solutions. There were some great platforms out there for project management proposal that I'm really, really excited about seeing coming in. Gone are the days where there's just really one major proposal creator out there. It's great, but competition just breeds, benefits and drives down cost. I was really excited to see those software companies. I was excited to see some of the other technologies. There was a really awesome AI technology, which blew me away, right? So there's this company that, they've got this app, and your reps record their pitch, and which sounds kind of creepy, right? But then this AI goes through and identifies tags in their pitch to make sure they covered certain things, and then managers can catch objections, right? They could just tag that objection, catch it, listen to how their rep responded to it, and then help coach them. And when I think about what's the potential with this type of leveraging technology in this industry, what could happen in the next 5 years, how easy it would be to get a rep just walking right in the door, just never sold solar before, to being just like an awesome rep with some of this technology. It really excites me.
Life-changing.
Yeah, the door-to-door industry is definitely not going away.
Yeah.
There's so much investment behind it. There was another program that we looked at where they've taken, especially in solar, where you've got a proposal tool, you've got a CRM, you've got a knocking app, you've got a payroll app, you've got 10 different platforms that you're looking at. We found one company that's combined it into all into one in one place. I mean, it's fantastic. I was talking to them. They've been developing it for 9 years now, and finally it's ready.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a game changer, right? You think about how much we've struggled in kind of Frankensteining all of ours together. I feel like we've done a really good job with it. But you look at what they have, and it's like, holy smokes, how much more effective could you be if you didn't have to figure out how to get everything to talk together?
Yeah, I was blown away. Like I remember just standing in front of that booth with you, and the guy was demoing it, and you were like, well, what about this? And he's like, oh, let me show you over here. And I was just like, well, what about this?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, we got that too. And like, it got to the point where Jared and I was just trying to find something that they haven't integrated into their business as it relates to not just sales, but install and service and equipment tracking and all that, all those, service tickets. And man, I just feel like they got it nailed, and I'm really excited for some of these new companies.
And what does that mean for everybody else in the industry? It's like, as you progress, you go from being a lead setter to a closer to a manager, maybe breaking off and becoming your own dealer, and then maybe even becoming an installer. It's like you have so many more tools in this industry now that are set up to make you have success. All that said, though, what we touched on, though, doesn't matter how much help you have from the outside. It's going to come down to the grit that you have with inside. Right. I'm proud to be part of a company that I think, like I said, one of our core values is that tenacious grit, where we face the storm, right? We persevere until we accomplish our goals. That's the DNA that every door-to-door rep needs to have in order to accomplish their goals. Not everybody has it.
No.
I don't know if it's definitely a blessing that comes easy to some, but for others, we have to work really, really hard to get it. Tom, one of the last things he said is that success can't be guaranteed, but the struggle can be guaranteed. And if you're willing to fight through that struggle, if you have the grit every single day to get out there on the battlefield and fight and fight and fight, your odds of success are a lot higher, right?
Yeah, Luke called it failing forward.
Yeah,
it's definitely imperative for that success. So.
Well, appreciate you guys coming on the show. This has been fun. Good conversation. Good conference. If you haven't been in the past, highly recommend that you go next year to Door Con 7.
In Georgia, right? Is it in Georgia?
It
says GA7. So I'm thinking that's Georgia.
Could be.
I think they're moving it to Georgia next year, but I could be wrong.
Could be.
Yeah.
In the meantime,
a bunch of people are going to show up at Georgia. Right.
In the meantime, plan on coming to Door Con.
Or SolarCon.
SolarCon.
Yeah, there you go.
We come to SolarCon in April of 2023.
April.
Fusion Power will be the premier sponsor of that show again.
I'm super excited.
Second
for that
SolarCon.
show.
Second
Yeah,
SolarCon.
Second SolarCon.
Yeah.
A lot bigger than the last one, too.
A lot bigger than it's going to be cool for our industry too.
It is.
This year it's going to be, we have all the software companies, but it sounds like we've got some finance companies getting involved. We've got some equipment companies, solar equipment companies that are going to be in there selling. Obviously, all of the reps. I think it's going to be a really awesome show.
Fun.
So
We can't steal their thunder, but obviously we get a little peek on some of the speakers and things they have planned. And I got to say, man, I'm really blown away with what they're doing this year. I'm really excited for SolarCon.
Yeah, it's going to be big.
It's warmer at that time of year, too.
A little bit.
Oh, it's freezing.
Yeah, it was like
February.
27 degrees last year.
Yeah, it's cold.
All right, guys. Thanks for being
having
here.
me. Yeah, awesome.
That's a wrap.